Yeah.
All right, so it looks like we are live on at least two of our sites now. As always, Instagram is taking its sweet time. Here we go. We're almost there. Almost. And woohoo! We are now live on Instagram as well. All right. So the three of us are here for you guys today. We have Sarah and Monique, who are moderators and awesome people who are helping out with just trying to move Crochet Foundry forward. So I don't know if either one of you want to say anything, or I don't know. We kind of were I was a little late joining because I was in technical jargon chaos.
You were concentrating really hard. It's okay.
Did I look like I was thinking hard, or was I sitting here with my tongue sticking out?
I could see like the smoke coming out, and yeah.
Many a light bulbs.
I had a StreamYard on so I could like pop over at like quarter till noon. And in the meantime, I was trying to figure out how to do the things I want to do. So I was like reading all the instructions and popping from site to site. And then I realized it was 11:58. And I don't know how long the two of them were like staring at me as I was like trying to figure crap out, but it had to have been amusing.
It's okay, you figured it out. That's what matters, right?
No, not yet.
You look like you did, so that's important.
Okay, so the three of us were had been brainstorming last week about what we can do to make the subscription, membership, everything a little bit just more user friendly and also more what you guys want. We have over on Instagram, Crafty Hooker Vanessa says, "Hey Sarah." So I'm guessing that's somebody you might
Hey!
know, Sarah.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
And then over on here, we have Sarah saying hello, who's already here.
Oh, wasn't sure if I could do
I'm
that.
super here, you know.
Sarah is
Extra.
here in 2 or 3 or 4. Okay, so um, I don't know. We're going to give Patreon a go, guys. And now Vanessa is laughing at us, which is good. We're going to give Patreon a go. So the three of us in our brainstorming, decided that we wanted a couple of tiers. Obviously, I know you'll want a membership or subscription to the magazine. So where I currently am in the technical nightmare was figuring out how to give you. I just need to be able to there's some technical stuff that goes behind this that you're going to get bored if I try to explain it all. But what I am attempting to do is make it so that if you join under the under the subscription tier, which will be $12.99 a month. And as soon as I figure out how to do, I know some people have like annual memberships. And I'm also trying to figure out how to make that work. I would like to make it $12.99 a month, or if you pay for the whole year, $129.99. So if I can do that, I will. Right now, I definitely can do $12.99 a month. I just need to figure out how to do the year one. And what you'll do is you'll be able to get the magazine for every month that you are a paid patron under the subscription tier. My goal is to make it, there's no way to auto deliver it to your Shopify account, but what I can do is save a post for every month, or even I can what I'm attempting to do is make a specific coupon code for each individual month um, that will be listed. And if you are, it'll be attached to your accounts. So if you are a Patreon patron of the subscription tier for February 2025, then you will have that tag on your name. And when you click, Patreon patron, then you'll be able to get that particular issue for free, whether even when it's long after February 2025, because that tag will stay with you. The reason I'm doing that, but it'll be in there when you open up your the February 2025 issue, even 10 years from now, however many, there'll be a little link that says, Patreon or something. There'll be something there so that when you purchase it, it'll be free. The reason I'm doing that and not running it directly through Patreon is the way that it works, at least currently with Patreon. The moment that you stop being a Patreon patron, you will lose access to it. And I don't like the ethics of that. I'm not saying anything bad about Patreon. It works for the things they had it working for, but for a magazine subscription, when you end, if it's an online subscription, when you end it, I want you to still have access to your old magazines. Okay. So that's why I'm doing this, and I'm attempting to do it in a way where it'll be super, super user friendly. So this all sounds convoluted and crazy right now because I'm in the middle of all of the thought processes going on here. But when it's all done, when you pull up February 2025 as a current issue or months later as a past issue, it'll be super easy to see how you can get your magazine for free if you were a subscriber during February 2025. That is where my goal is, and it very much looks like it's possible. I just need to actually go through all the technical jargon to make it work. Do you guys want to talk about some of the other tiers that we discussed? You remember?
Well, I do know that there's going to be a community area. So, that's, and Jesse didn't mention it, but this is something that is going to be available for folks that are leaving Meta, so that's been a huge platform for us with Facebook and Instagram. So if anyone is leaving Meta, this is a way to stay in touch with us, keep getting the magazine, keeping with the community as well, because of course the magazine is amazing, but also the community is amazing too. Because everyone is super supportive of each other. And so this is a way to keep together too. Yeah, I know that we're going to have some different tiers for participating in crochet alongs, the monthly crochet along. And Jesse, go ahead, or Monique, if you have the other tiers.
Oh, you're on mute, Monique.
Sorry. I had a cat that was meowing. I forgot about that part. I know that you'd mentioned there were different tiers, like for people that just want to join the crochet along. There's just so many different options, so there's a place for everybody, I think, right?
Yeah. Why don't I tell you what the tiers are, and then you guys can kind of maybe talk about some of the things that you're excited about and stuff, because I didn't want to make this feel like a math test.
The answers are...
That was my bad, sorry.
Google. No.
Okay, so basically, I guess eventually there will be essentially 4 tiers. So there'll be the lowest price tier will be just for the crochet alongs, all right? And where we are aiming for those is we will have every month we will give you a suggested pattern for the crochet along, and in a little while I have 5 patterns here that I've pulled up as possibles for the suggested patterns for February, and you all can tell me what you think about them. So we'll give you a suggested pattern for the crochet along, and that'll be what we might do like a tutorial or things about that specific pattern. But every month you can choose any pattern that is available from crochetfoundry.com or from jessieathome.com. Okay, and the reason why we have both of those is because, hi, I'm Jessie at Home and I own Crochet Foundry. So therefore, it's basically the same thing. So you can choose any pattern from jessieathome.com or any pattern from crochetfoundry.com, which means that might be a knit pattern as well. And that does include, when I say any pattern available from crochetfoundry.com, that includes the indie patterns. So when you're on Crochet Foundry and at the top there's a link for indie patterns, there are some crochet patterns and there are some knit patterns. Those indie patterns are included as, patterns you can use in the crochet along. Remember, if it is a pattern by an indie designer who is not me, then I will do my. I am very skilled in both knit and crochet, and I can most likely help you if you get stuck. I do have access to all of the patterns, even if they're paid patterns. I have access to them. I wouldn't make them myself without paying for them first if they were an indie pattern, because that wouldn't really be ethical. But I feel like it's probably okay for me to look at them to aid you who has already bought the pattern in them. So the suggested pattern will be provided a PDF for free for everybody who is on the Crochet Along tier, okay, which will be probably about $250. That would be the max of where it is $250. That's where I'm kind of thinking of putting it. Mm-hmm. So the Crochet Along tier, you would get access to the PDF for the Crochet Along pattern. That is the suggested one. If you choose to do something that's not the suggested one, a lot of the Jessie at Home patterns are free on the internet, which means there's like ads on it and everything, but they're free there. And most of the Jessie at Home patterns and obviously the Crochet Foundry patterns are available for purchase. So that also, of course, includes any patterns in previous issues of Crochet Foundry. So if you're a Crochet Foundry subscriber, you probably have tons and tons of Crochet Foundry patterns. They're all included in, acceptable patterns for the Crochet Along. So you choose your pattern. You'll get a free copy of the PDF for the suggested pattern, and you can do something else if you want. And we're going to do 2 live kind of sit, how we've been doing 4-ish sit and stitches every month that are open to anybody. We're going to switch 2 of them to the people who are in the Crochet Along tier only. Well, every tier above the Crochet Along includes the Crochet Along. So 2 people who are Patreon patrons. Two of the lives every month will be for those, and then the other 2 will be open to have to be on Patreon. So that is where the Crochet Along tier is, and then the next tier after that will include the Crochet Along, and then will also include the members area. So there currently is a members area of Crochet Foundry for people who have the membership. That members area will be included within the second tier. I haven't quite decided what the price of that second tier is going to be. It will definitely max out at $5. It might be a little less. But that second tier, it will include the Crochet Along, and then in addition to that, the members only area of Crochet Foundry, which has more content than the blog has on it, and it also, any of the tutorials or anything that are on the blog, it includes those as well in the members area. Only the videos in the members area do not have ads. So if you are watching a tutorial on the blog or on YouTube, the tutorials that are on the blog are actually just the YouTube tutorials, and they have the YouTube ads in them. If you are watching a tutorial video through the members area, they are done in such a way, it's the same video, but there are no ads on it. So you get ad-free content, and you get some additional content that is not in the blog, and you get access to some like printables and stuff for free that you would have normally had to pay for otherwise. And that all of that membership content will be increasing. All right, the more people using the members only area, the more content I'll be adding to it, because I want to make sure everybody's getting their value in all of that. Then the kind of standalone tier that isn't connected to any of the rest of them is the just the flat out subscription that we talked about already. That is $12.99 a month, and as soon as I figure out how to also price it annually, it will be $129.99 a year if you want to pay for the whole year at a time. But definitely $12.99 a month, because that one I already figured out how to do. So that one's a standalone. It's not connected to anything else. And then the top tier will be the $14.99 a month, and it will include everything. So the membership, the crochet along, and the members area, $14.99 a month. And as soon as I figure out how to also include annual pricing, the annual price will be $149.99. For those of you who are like, I'm already paying $14.99 a month or $149.99 a year with our current members membership structure, I'm leaving that open for now. As soon as I have everything set up on Patreon, I'm going to shut off new orders for the old membership area. And I will transfer everybody so that you will also have the Patreon top tier level. Okay. And, well, what I'll do, Patreon is set up in such a way that I can't add you as a member. So what you'll need to do, and I will send out emails and let you all know, is if you're currently a member in the current way that we have our membership set up, I'll send you an email with the little link to join the free level of Patreon. And as soon as you join the free level of Patreon, I will, if you're an annual member, I'll comp you the higher level of the I'll comp you the highest level on Patreon for the extent of your annual membership. Okay, so you'll still get, if you still have 6 months left, you'll still get 3 months free over on Patreon. If you're a monthly member, then I will comp you the Patreon membership just until the end of the month. And what you'll have to do, or I'll comp you the membership as long as you're getting the membership the other way. But what you need to do is, I have to figure out how to do this actually. That doesn't work. Yeah. The annual membership I'll comp till the end. I had this figured out earlier and my brain just went away. That's why I wasn't comping it. I'll comp you the annual membership until your annual membership expires, at which point I'll send you an email and say it expired. Here's how you join. With the monthly membership, when I send out that email, I'll let you know how to purchase the monthly membership. And what you'll want to do is cancel your current monthly membership. It will finish out to the end of the month, and then as long as you've canceled it, it won't renew. Instead of letting it renew there, you'll have to purchase a new membership over on Patreon. It will all be in the email.
Think of it as a migration. That you're not losing anything. It's just migrating to a different platform.
And you're actually gaining, right?
Yeah. If you forget to do something or whatever, and you didn't get what you have already paid to get, just send me an email. support@crochetfoundry.com. Always send me an email. Good customer service is like my number one thing. So send me an email. Let me know what you need. Let me know if you're unhappy. Let me know if you're happy. Let me know whatever. Send me an email, support@crochetfoundry.com, and I will do anything within reason to make sure that you get whatever you get what you got coming to you.
In a good way.
What you got
in
coming.
A good way.
Way.
I love it.
So yeah, the new membership does include more than the old membership does, because we were going to add in those crochet alongs and everything. And some months the crochet along might be a brand new pattern. Maybe it'll be exclusive to the crochet along for a month or so. But for now, because I've got so many other things going on, we're going to be using pre-existing patterns. So before we look at those, what are you two excited about here?
I'm excited about the different tiers, give
too.
people the different ways to, engage and, there's things that maybe they can't afford to buy the magazine right now, but with the smaller tiers, they can still be part of the crochet alongs and, that sort of thing. So, because a lot of people are struggling, but this gives a lot of people way more options than before. So I think that is a really good thing.
I'm excited about the same thing. But also the fact that everyone has a space, and also the development of the community. Like, this is a huge community, not only of makers, but designers. And it's just great that we can be in a safe place together creating, whether that be the cow, whether that's new designs. There's also a lot of support in the community. Again, if you don't understand something, you can always ask or reach out to support. All these different levels of community, again, right? Because it's really important that we support each other as best as we can. And like you said, some of us are going through very difficult times, or we're not, or we can't afford to buy annual subscription, but we can buy all these different levels of what we can do at that time. And we can always grow or subtract from that. But it's also, the platform for Patreon is also very user friendly, and it's very community oriented. And I like that because you can really interact with people, and it's very simple. With all these different things that are going on right now, it's nice to have a little bit of simplicity in something that we love. So, yeah.
And I know that I'm going to make sure there are things going on in the free level. So you can join Patreon on the free level, and I'm going to make sure that all of that information gets out to you guys. But you can join Crochet Foundry, our Patreon, on the free level. The website is not, I mean, there might be things added to it and such, but it's not like changing. We're not bailing from Facebook or anywhere else. And while we are moving 2 of those sit and stitches to the crochet along tier and above only for Patreon, the other 2 are staying where you don't have to be any specific, you don't even have to be on the free level of Patreon. You don't have to even know what Patreon is, as long as you just, go to the website and click under community. You can find the link to the free sit and stitches, and we'll make sure that everything is labeled properly so you can see, okay, these are the free sit and stitches, and then if you want to go to the crochet alongs sit and stitches, those will be listed in Patreon under the tier that they're on. So yeah, it's very important to me that we still keep the free community active. I know how tough things can be for a lot of people. Where things are really tough for us right now, and I want to make sure that no matter what your financial situation is, you can still participate in the community here, because I know the worse my financial situation is, the more I need my community. So I want to make sure we have that support for each other, where, even if we're not necessarily talking about the things that are currently stressing us out, what we are doing is crocheting or knitting or stitching together, and we're being creative together, and we're having a good time together, and that itself is healthy. It's good for your mental health. It's your own therapy. It's fun. It's creative. It's all wonderful things. And I know that Monique and Sarah and I all work very hard to make sure that this is a safe space for all of us. Okay. We're not okay with people who are going to be mean or racist or homophobic or transphobic or any of that sort of stuff. That is that is a hard no. And you know, there was one sit and stitch where I had to boot people. It's only happened once. But there was one sit and stitch where I had to boot 2 people because they were showing the kind of colors that break rule number 1, which is be kind.
Yep.
Rule number 1 is be kind. Rule number 2 is don't make me make any other rules. And I certainly don't enjoy when I have to enforce that, but when I do, I will. Okay, so I keep it a safe space. And you know, some people's definition of safe space may not be the same as mine, but I think at this point we've gotten pretty good at discovering who our audience is, and our audience has gotten pretty good at discovering that they are our audience, or if they're not, they've already found the door.
Well, that's good. You're not shy to express how you feel, and you shouldn't be, because this is a safe place of tolerance, love, kindness, and creativity.
Yes.
And oleophobia should be like running out of yarn. That's my oleophobia.
Yeah, no running out of yarn. That's if you're running low on yarn, you can send me a message. I probably could do something.
Yeah, I've got plenty, so you know.
You never have enough. I'm sorry. My mom.
But yeah, if you've never joined us for a sit and stitch, join us tonight. You know, give us a try, and
Dory,
it's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, and Dory over on Instagram says, Jesse rocks. I was glad for safety that night. Yes, Dory was there the night that I had to bounce 2 people.
That's right.
And yeah, and you know what? Nearly every other person who was on the sit and stitch that night later sent me a message, a Facebook message or an email thanking me for bouncing those 2 people, because they, once those things started to be said, they weren't feeling so safe anymore. So
it was so fun.
You know, that's always the goal, is to keep it happy and all of that, or to keep it safe. You know, sometimes we're not happy, and that's okay. You do not have to show up at a sit and stitch with a big old smile on your face. Last week somebody was having a bad day, and they came in and they were like, I'm having a bad day. And so we were like, okay, do you want to talk about the bad day, or do you want to ignore the bad day and just go with the yarn fun? And they were like, ignore the bad day and go with the yarn fun. So we ignored the bad day and went with the yarn fun. All right.
Yep.
You don't have to be smiling and having a great time. And if we're like, are you okay? And you say, I'm not, but I don't want to talk about it, we're going to respect that. Okay. We're not going to try to make you tell us something you don't want to tell us just because you don't have a big smile on your face. It is all good. All right. We will take whatever answer you give us. And even if it's mean, if we realize that you were just having a bad day and didn't really mean it.
Yeah. And I mean, if you don't want to talk, it's fine. If you just want to stitch and listen in, you know, we talk about everything. So,
and when we're talking too much, myself particularly, you can always butt in and say, but I have this question, and I will go away silently and listen.
Well, silently, no.
Okay, well, let me come back.
I have a mute button for everybody.
But you know, it changes my day. You know, we can have a bad day, and just being in that community, whether we're not speaking, don't have our camera on, just knowing that we have someone that we can speak to, that it is a safe place. My yarn and my crochet and my knitting is my sanity. Like, if I did not do these things, my family would not like me any. I can tell you that right now. And just having even just the 2 of you in my life has changed me substantially. It's nice to know that you have someone you can rely on. And just every Wednesday we get together. We'll be every other Wednesday, or however, be 2 Wednesdays a month that will be free, where we can get together and talk, or once, whatever, and know that we can talk about whatever and have questions, which I always ask. But it's great.
You have some really good crochet questions. I mean, you ask all sorts of questions, but when you have a crochet question, they're always like really good crochet questions. I'm like, oh, this is a fun one.
Yeah, well, we always learn something. So,
yeah,
you know.
And I learn and I learn what articles I need to write to put on the blog because
Yep.
Monique is
Ease.
awesome about this. It's like she'll ask a question and I'll be like, oh shit, I should probably write a blog post about that because that's a really good question that like I sometimes forget as somebody who, you know, I've been an artist, a designer my whole life. And I've been crocheting since I was 9. I have a sewing background, which makes a lot of this a little easier for me. Like in a pattern writing background and a costume design background. It's like sometimes I forget what things don't just make sense to people and aren't just like
ease.
Things that I
Yeah, like ease. How long have I been crocheting? And Jesse
Yeah.
just taught me. It's like so sad, but it's true, right? But like when you're doing scarves and you know, a lot of things don't require gauge
No,
and
they don't.
ease and stuff like that.
But then
I
you
didn't know
start
what
making
ease was.
garments and you're like, ease. And you're like, what? And I'm like, oh, you know, ease. And you're like, what? And I'm like, oh, right.
Is it easy? No.
No. Maybe I should write an article about that to explain it so that everybody knows. So, yeah. So, and that's some of the stuff that you guys can do when you come and join the Sit and Stitches is be like, hey, Jesse, we want to know about this. And I'll make myself a little note to write an article about it, but then I'll also take the time to make sure that your question is answered right then and there, which is one of the huge benefits of coming to the Sit and Stitch, is that I will take the time to make sure your question is answered right then and there, unless you ask me like 2 minutes before the Sit and Stitch is over and the kids want dinner. Speaking of the Sit and Stitch, today is 7 to 9 Eastern. So it is currently 12:30 Eastern. This will end at like about 1-ish, and the Sit and Stitch will be 6 hours later. So 7 to 9 Eastern is the Sit and Stitch tonight. And this is definitely one of the ones that is open to everybody. I may leave even the crochet along ones this month open. We'll see. I'm still, like I said, I'm still in the process of making everything work within Patreon. I haven't opened up all the levels because I don't want to open up anything that I'm not confident I can get you all of the items for. Obviously, free is 100% open, so I encourage everybody to go and join the free tier. Okay, and I will add the information on joining the free tier to the reminder email for the Sit and Stitch tonight, because you'll be getting the reminder email for tonight's Sit and Stitch 4 hours. So that would be at 3 p.m. Eastern today. I'll add the link to get onto the free tier for Crochet Foundry. It should work that if you just go to Patreon and search Crochet Foundry, it would be there. Sarah said she didn't see it, so I may have something not quite set up right. Is that what you were saying you didn't see, Sarah?
Yeah, I was searching and it wasn't coming up. So, yeah, so I went to the link that you sent me.
Yeah, but I did send them both the link to join the free thing to make, because with Patreon, even if it's a free tier, I can't add you. You have to add yourself. So I sent both of them the link to join the free tier, and they were both able to do that. So as long as I give you the link, you can definitely join, and I will figure out what I have done wrong that makes it not show up when you search it. Because I know it's me. It's definitely me. It's not Patreon. And as much as it's user friendly, I am still kind of, new to the whole Patreon thing. So yeah, so I'll add that link into the reminder email that'll be going out at 3 p.m. today for this evening's Thingamajul and Sit and Stitch. And then, of course, on Saturday there'll be another newsletter that will have the information on the February issue, which comes out on Friday. So if we're going in chronological order, Friday the February issue comes out. So when you click on current issue, the Friday one will come up. And if I have everything set up properly on Patreon, then when you look at the February issue, it'll tell you how to get it through Patreon. So all that information will be right there in the listing for the February issue. And then on Saturday, of course, there's the regular Saturday newsletter that comes out, and that one will talk all about the February issue and include the Patreon information. And with all of that, if you still have any questions, then you can always go over to support@crochetfoundry.com and send me an email because I answer questions. Lots and lots of questions. Just ask these people. Oh my goodness, Knit the Rainbow was featured on some like CNN TikTok or something a while ago.
Yep.
And in the matter of like 3 days, I got 600 emails.
That's
because
awesome.
when you join, if you go to knittherainbow.org and you click and you fill out the volunteer submission form, it goes 2 places. It goes one place where you get added to the newsletter list and everything. And then the second place it goes to is my Knit the Rainbow email. And whenever I check my Knit the Rainbow email, I get every single form because it's my job to then go in and read the forums to see if anybody asked a question. Nobody warned me about the CNN thing.
That's a lot of emails.
I just opened my Knit the Rainbow email one day and had 600 messages.
Good morning.
And I now know, you know how Google, the Gmail, it'll stack the messages like in one thread. So like whenever I would get, I usually get like 1 email bundle per day. And they'll be like 1 to 10 emails in that 1 email bundle. Yeah, I now know those stacks max out at 100.
Oh my heaven!
I know. I'm
like,
Austin, dude.
Why do those?
What did you do?
You know what? Hopefully it's a positive thing because Knit the Rainbow is amazing.
Thing.
So
it's a totally awesome thing. And
now I know why you've been so busy.
I check them anyway.
You know, I'll talk about it tonight, but there was something that Tony Lipsey was doing. This community helps people with, what is it called? Did you see what she did, Sarah? It's this community that you sign up for, and it helps people finish objects, patterns that they haven't finished. It's the coolest thing. I can't remember what it was.
Oh,
I think it's on one of her reels.
Right here.
But it's like something mend the knots or something in knots or something.
Hold on, give me a second.
Yeah,
it's
where you're finishing people's whips that have passed away,
or they're not able to complete it for whatever reason.
I met her at DKL, and so did Tony, because we were all there.
Yeah. Trust me, I'll find it too, because
we'll talk about, because I wanted to sign up, and even as a Canadian, I'd like to find out if they do something like that here in Canada, because
hold on.
Oh yes, it's worldwide.
It's okay, because I was even at a presentation she did at the Moving Live. So what it is, I do have her card. Hold on a second.
I love it.
Give me a second.
Good.
Here we go. Loose ends. Okay.
Yes, the Loose Ends Project.
That's right. Thank you. Loose Ends Project.
And here, I'll put the info in here, and I'll tell you about it. What it is, what Loose Ends is. Let me just type in this information, otherwise I'll type it in wrong if I'm trying to type Jen at Loose Ends.
Yeah, and I put in the
Did you put in the link for it, sir? Or is there
I put in the Instagram link, yes.
Perfect. I don't know how you did that.
And I'm actually, you know what? So I'm sure if you just go, that's the email, but I'm sure if you just go to looseensproject.org, that would be the website.
Yes.
We also have an Instagram page. That's how I found it, because it was linked off of that. So, yeah.
So one of the things we're doing, obviously, that hasn't happened yet, is there will be a charity kind of section on the website for like places you can knit and crochet for and everything. Because there's 2 things you can do with Loose Ends Project. You can sign up as a finisher. And right now they do knit, crochet, and I am almost positive she said they do sewing as well.
Yes,
they do. Yeah. And Tunisian crochet.
Knit, crochet, and sewing. So you can sign up as a finisher, or if you or someone you know has a project that needs to be finished, you can sign up for that. So anyone, they are in, they have some astounding, like, tens of thousands of numbers of finishers across the world. Okay, yeah, so yes, amazing. They are most definitely in Canada. They are across the world. The number of countries they were in was also pretty darn high.
Yeah.
So, and what they do is if someone has passed away and left an unfinished project, currently that would be crochet, knit, weaving, basically anything to do with yarn or fiber, yarn, fabric, fiber, any of that sort of stuff, any of that, you can contact them and they will pair you up with a finisher. The goal is to always have somebody who's like local to you. Okay, so we don't have to pay lots of money in shipping, because this is all going to be done. The goal is to make it so that the person, the people who are asking for the finishing don't need to, pay any money for shipping or whatever. And that the people who are doing the finishing don't have to do a lot of shipping either. They, of course, also have, they have sponsors and such who help them get the supplies that are needed to make it, but to finish the products. But if you need something finished, you are not going to have to pay for anything. The shipping it to the finisher, if it has to be shipped to the finisher, I did not ask specifically how that works. So I don't know specifically if you would have to actually ship it to pay to ship it to the person or not. But if you did, that would be the only thing.
Yeah, but I mean, man, if you need a serotonin boost, just look at their Instagram, because it is so amazing.
It is unbelievable. We were all like, when we met Jen, we were all like, oh my God, you are so brilliant and so awesome. And like, we were all just madly in love with her, loose end. Everybody is like, I want to share this. I want to share this. Yeah. Tony and I are currently sharing a lot of the same stuff because we were both at BKL and we happen to play with the same people and run in the same crowd. So, and sit and chat about awesome things like loose ends together. So,
yeah. And Tom Daly, the Olympic swimmer, he's been doing some finishing as well for people.
Yeah. So it is an incredible project. We love it. Absolutely. So yes, that we'll share that information. And I was going to chat with Jen as well about doing if she wanted to do an interview in the magazine, and also about maybe coming to some of these lives. Actually, it might necessarily be me talking with Jen about whether she wants to come to one of these lives. It might be Monique or Sarah talking about whether she wants to come to one of these lives, because Monique and Sarah are currently giving me a hand because you know how I said how awesome this community is? Well, last week I was like, so they're just not words for how much I just wanted to dig a hole and bury myself in it. And these two were like, okay, what can we do? All right. So they are amazing. And I mean, the whole community is amazing, but like, yeah, we find, and I never met them before Crochet Foundry. All right. So, lots of awesomeness here. I want to share with you guys all the possible whatchamacallits. We have another
patterns. Patterns for the crochet along.
And here is Sarah tossed up a couple links. Here is the Loose Ends Project is the Instagram, and apparently with Patreon, Sarah found the link. C-crochet. Oh, C would be like creator, I guess, as opposed to patron. C/crochet foundry. All right, so let me go to share my screen view. Here we go. All right, so I just pulled up the Ravelry pages for these various patterns that I thought might be fun. We have the Flower Granny Square Bloom Scarf. And I was also trying to make sure that they were something that could be made with yarns that we probably all have currently. So this was made with the Red Heart Ombre. I don't remember if that was a With Love or a Super Saver, and of course you can make it with its scarf, so you can make it with any yarn you've got going on, basically. And that's just a really super fun, puffy kind of pattern. Then we have the purple passion purse. Again, it was made with, I don't remember which yarn. I feel like, here, if I close this, I can see, right? Paintbox yarn, Simply Aran. So again, just your regular, any, whatever worsted weight or DK weight yarn you have. It's a really simple, fun little purse. Our theme for February, guys, is winter date night. So I was trying to keep these in with winter date night themes. I love, this is actually, I think, my favorite of all the possible patterns I picked out, is this one. Then there are some bigger ones too. This was made with Sprightly yarns, which was back when Craftsy was Craftsy the first time around, and they had some yarns. Sprightly was one of their yarns. I made this for their kit program. But since that particular version of Craftsy no longer exists, it's mine now. So again, this is a worsted or DK weight yarn would work for this, and it's still pretty simple
Granny squares.
pattern. It's some granny squares and some granny stripes, and makes a fun little poncho. Let's see, and then something a little. This one was Lion Brand Scarfy is what I used to make this, and it's kind of like a little Red Riding Hood little cape, but you can see that it has the cables continue down the back as well. Mm-hmm. See, this person didn't make the hood. She just made like a little collar, and she used one of the fuzzier yarns. It's obviously, it's a larger gauge. But yeah, so this was just with the Lion Brand Scarfy. It's got the cables on the two front sides, the front openings of the cape part, and then down the center of the hood and down the center of the back. And people like to make it in red. Look, this person added little beads inside the cables.
That's cool.
It's really pretty. It's the little red and the wolf. I was like, that is the most creative way to like be private with a little red cape on, is to make your face the wolf. I love that.
Little Red Riding Hood.
Yes. And then what was the other one? Oh, right. This was my little holiday poncho, which you don't necessarily need to do in Christmas colors, but it's fun because it's a little different. It's made with two rectangles. See how there's the rectangle right here and then a rectangle right here, and they just kind of join together to make the poncho shape, and then you put the border on them. So I wanted something that wasn't like the same. I have plenty of easy patterns that are like a 2-row repeat for the entire pattern, and I just felt like that was maybe a little too simple for a month-long crochet along, but I still wanted to make sure that they weren't that difficult. This is made with 2 or 3 pieces of worsted weight yarn held together at once. I don't remember which. It's been a while. Let me see. Double crochet with 2 strands of yarn. Okay. So this is made with 2 strands of yarn held together at once, which is how I did the color changes. You see, this is red and pink, and this is pink. This is 2 strands of white, 1 strand of white, 1 strand of green, 2 strands of green. So it's a fun way to do color changes, to give it an ombre look, even when it's not, even when it's
that way. It's great for stash busting, eh?
Yeah, it's perfect. It's awesome for stash busting.
Mm-hmm. So I actually have a bunch of rugs I've made with like 5 strands of yarn held together, and I just like every time one ends, I add another one.
Yep.
That takes patience. I love what's going on the bottom of that. So is it knitted in the flat, and then once you seam it together, you then do the end?
It's all it's all crocheted flat. So there's 2 flat rectangles first. Well, there's some round. So the red pieces, like you can see here a little bit. Oops, there we go. This is one rectangle, and this is the other rectangle. So there's 2 rectangular pieces, and they kind of join. They're both exactly the same size rectangle. And I'm pretty sure there's a little illustration in the pattern. If not, I would make one on how to join them. So you make 2 flat rectangles, and then you join them. And so there's a little bit of seaming there. And then when you join them, they've made this inner poncho piece. And then you do in the round, the green is done in the round after the red has been joined together. So once the red and pink parts join together, you do the green and white part in the round, and then it's just got a bunch of fringe added onto it.
It's very pretty.
It's super,
Especially on the
super
bottom. What's
simple.
on it? I just
And
love it.
I love the way it drapes.
Yeah.
Because what it is it's on the bias. This is a sewer thing. It hangs on the bias, which makes it drape across your body in a very pretty sort of way.
I don't know what bias is, but it sounds very sexy and pretty.
Exactly. And that's what it is. Okay, you want the simplest explanation of biased ever? Bias ever? Hold on. This is when I can see my mouse on the screen twice, I always click on the wrong button. I start moving the mouse that's being mirrored as opposed to the actual mouse. Okay, so when fabric is woven back and forth and up, like it goes this way and this way, right? So you have fabric going, you have threads going this way, and you have threads going this way, right?
Okay.
So if you pull like this, it doesn't really pull because you're trying to pull a straight thread. And if you pull this way, it doesn't really pull because you're trying to pull a straight thread. But if you go at the bias, aka the 45-degree angle, it shifts the threads and makes it taller and long. It makes it longer and also thinner. So you know when you take something like when you take something that's an even weave that's got threads going this way and threads going that way, and you pull it like this and you pull it like this, it doesn't stretch. But if you pull the diagonal, it does.
I've never noticed that.
Yeah, so if you take like a square, okay, take a square napkin, like a fabric napkin or something that's just a square piece of fabric that's got threads going this way and threads going this way, as opposed to like some of the fancy, there are other kinds of woven fabric. But if it has threads going this way and threads going this way, and you pull it like this, it doesn't stretch. You pull it like this, it doesn't stretch. But when you pull it like this, what happens is rearranging the way that everything is. You're rearranging the way the threads are laid out so that it becomes taller, and then it also kind of becomes skinnier because that taller has to come from somewhere. And
I have to do that all the time because my cat will pull a thread out of stuff. So
yeah, and that's what bias is. So I mean, there's not so much of a bias with crochet and knit. Obviously they do stretch in various directions. Like they are much more stretchy than an even weave fabric, but it's still sometimes you can still use the bias to give even more of the effect as well, depending again on the actual stitch you're using.
Wow.
Let me just check and see if there were any more comments over on Instagram. There's people joining, but there are not comments. All right, and we're good over here. Awesome. So I don't know. You know what? I'll leave this option open, and I'll maybe put the links also in the reminder email. I'll put the links for these patterns in the reminder email. And so then today at the sit and stitch, people can also give me some votes. And what we'll do is on Friday or Friday or Saturday, probably on Saturday, I guess, when I send out the email, I'll let y'all know what the winner is. So you can vote today by just telling me on whatever, by just leaving a comment wherever you are right now, which of these you'd like. I will link them all in the reminder email for tonight's sit and stitch. So the reminder email that comes out at 3 o'clock today, reminding you that the sit and stitch is at 7 o'clock tonight, will include the link for joining the Patreon for free, and it will include the links for these 5 patterns, and you can reply to that and or show up at the sit and stitch and let me know which of these 5 patterns is your favorite for the crochet along. And then on Friday or Saturday, I will let y'all know which one the winner is, and that will be the pattern for the crochet along this month. Hopefully I will have the Patreon figured out by then, but we'll have the crochet along no matter what. So if I don't have the Patreon totally figured out by then I'll just give you the pattern anyway. We'll just do it. So I'm not going to hold off this month's crochet along just because I have things to figure out yet. I'll make sure it all happens. So yeah, I think that is it with the crochet along. Like a lot of these patterns from Jessie at Home, like all of these patterns, you can actually get the pattern for free on the internet, on the Jessie at Home website. I think these are all free. There might be one of them that is a sale pattern. It's possible that the pattern that used to go to Sprightly, that used to go to Craftsy, the Granny Border Poncho, that one I think might be for sale only. Yeah, it looks like it is. But the other ones are free on the website. But what you will get as a Crochet Along member patron is you'll get the PDF for free, and of course the Crochet Along only access in Patreon and the sit and stitches and everything. And we're going to work on making sure our communities are active. And yeah, I just want to make sure that everybody, even I know a lot of people are leaving Meta, and I want to make sure you still have access to our community and everything. And I feel like this, once I get it all set up, is going to be so much more user friendly than the way we currently have things set up. So I'm really excited about that. What about you two? Anything else you want to add?
Join us tonight.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited about tonight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Join us.
Join the community. Be a part and have fun.
Exactly.
Oh, we are going to make sure. As Monique said, there's been a lot of process towards adding more people to our lives and everything to these Wednesday lives, and we're going to make sure that you guys have
special guests.
That you guys have. Sorry, my eye is itching all of a sudden. What was I saying? I got.
Are we going to have special guests? Possibly.
She's so emotional. She's so emotional about the guests.
I love you, Sarah. So straight face saying that. I don't know how you did that.
What?
Hysterical.
Oh, I said you're just so emotional about the guests. You know.
Oh.
It's really, really passionate. That's what we used to call customers that were.
Yes.
No, my eye started itching.
Is your eye still there? Are you okay? What's going on over there?
I'm a tomato now.
I wonder if she's happy.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna make sure you have a good calendar of who's gonna be a guest when, and that way you can think about like things you want to know about them ahead of time and everything.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you know somebody specific is coming, you want to like come and take a look and see what they do, and then there's like, ooh, I have this question that I really am excited about asking them. So yeah, we're gonna make sure you know all of that stuff because we're working on getting more guests and the designers to come and talk about their designs and all that sorts of fun stuff.
Yep.
So yeah, cool beans. There was a poll that we wanted to do. Oh, I remember what the poll was. Oh, that poll. You're talking about a poll. Monique is like, do you want me to make a poll? And she was talking about for the crochet along patterns. And I think that would be a lovely plan, Monique. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And then, but yeah, there was another poll we were going to do, which will happen in probably a week or two, which is eventually I'm going to be doing some reviews on like reviews and tutorials and stuff for products and kits from Hirschner's. So we'll do some polls on like what you guys want to see tutorials and such for.
Because there's a lot to choose from.
That's not an understatement. Better than none to choose from, but that's good. There's a lot. There's a pattern for everybody, literally speaking. That's fantastic.
All right, so that was a lot of stuff. So hopefully y'all have signed up for the newsletter. And here, if you have not signed up for the newsletter, it is super duper easy. Let's see, you can just go ahead and go to, here, we're just going to do this. you can go to crochetfoundry.com. And you sign up for the newsletter, you scroll down. Whee! Right there. Join the newsletter. There you go. So there'll be a newsletter coming out in 2 hours about the reminder for the sit and stitch, and then there'll be a newsletter on Saturday. And there's always 2 newsletters every week. Wednesdays is just the quick one that reminds you when the sit and stitch is that week. And if there's not a sit and stitch that week, then there isn't one. There isn't a newsletter on Wednesday. And then Saturdays is the regular newsletter. There you go. Yep. Again, too many mice. All right. So I think we are all good to go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then those 2 are going to stick around for a moment, but I'm going to say bye to all of you guys on the live stream here. So thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully we will see you tonight.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.